If you have worked for 10, 15, or 20 plus years, there is a high chance that you already have a skill that is worth $100,000 or more per year, and you're sitting on it. I'm going to help you in this video understand what your skill might be and how you get to those six figures. If you're new to my channel, my name is Arlan. I went from being homeless, sleeping on the floor of an airport just 10 years ago, to now investing in more than 200 startup companies. And I help thousands of entrepreneurs know how to make money fast so that they can have a better quality of life. It's something that I wish I had 10 years ago. So I want you to know that there is a way. If you believe that you have talent and you have skills and you have potential and more than potential, you already have it, let me know in the comments right now. Say, I have talent. I have skills. I need you to believe that for yourself, and I need you to tell us all that you do. Make sure you're also subscribed to this channel, because the more you subscribe, the more you'll see my videos. I produce videos all week long to help you have a higher quality of life through entrepreneurship. So, I want to start by saying that I have a new book called Arlan's Authority Playbook. Now, this is my fourth book, and I'm very, very proud of it. I worked on it for a while, and it is my favorite, favorite, favorite right now because it gives you every step of the way. That, by the way, is not the final cover. This is a galley, meaning it's just a version of it that I get to look through to see that it's formatted correctly. So you'll see the cover soon. In the description below, I have a link so you can buy the new physical copy of the book. It's hardcover. You also get an immediate download of the audiobook and an immediate download of the ebook, which is really, really awesome. So, how do you establish authority and how do you make $100,000? Well, I work with a lot of different clients, a lot of different members. Like, we have more than 20,000 members across my memberships. And they're all working on making money online. And many of them are 40 plus. I would say 40 to 60 is the most popular of my group. And then there are plenty who are above 60 and plenty who are like 30 to 40. If you want to say your age in the comments, actually, that would be really, really helpful to me to see where we stand now. I do surveys all the time, and this would really help. So, if you are 40 plus, I'm 45 as of this, type filming. If you are 40 plus, you have been through some stuff, you have experienced some things, and when I say that, I mean in life, and you've also probably helped a lot of people for free. Right now, you're probably being called out. So I have a lot of one-on-ones, right? And I had this conversation with someone yesterday that I thought was so, so interesting. And I have it all the time, but I thought it was so interesting the way they framed it. They framed it as that I think they're in their late 50s. I think something like 57. And they said, I thought that getting older meant being wiser. So I am wiser. And I thought that it was just part of getting older to give out free advice, that was just part of the way things worked. And on our call, she realized, actually, no, I could be charging for this insight because there are a lot of people who are younger than I am, or even the same age or older, who do not know some of the things that I know simply because they did not have that same experience, and it is helpful to them. So if you think about your lived experience, I like to go through what I call the lab framework, LAB. And L stands for, I'm going to writing some notes because I like to do that when I talk. L stands for what have you learned? A stands for what have you then applied? And then B stands for what have you benefited from? So something that you've learned in the last 20, 30 years, something that you then apply to your life, and then something that you've benefited from or someone else has benefited from. That understanding, that really is the beginning of an offer that you can make to people. And yes, the putting together the offer is its own process, but it is not a difficult process. In fact, I have a free membership called Your First 5K. I'll link to it below. If you go into the membership, it's free to join, go into the classroom. We have a 5-day challenge that's on replay. And what you can do there is if you take day one, it's about an hour, maybe a little over an hour long. And I actually give you an AI tool that helps you as you watch it, plug in certain inputs. And by the end of that conversation we have, you have your offer. You have are very, very close to an offer. So I know that that's a big hurdle for a lot of people. So I've tried to make it as easy as possible. And thousands of people have taken that challenge and have created their offers from it. And they love it. Like they talk about it all the time. I could show you on the screen, but I just want to help you just get to it as fast as possible. So don't worry about the offer so much as like, what should the delivery be? What should I do? Really, what it comes down to, there's like five different ways to do this. There's plenty more, but there's like five main ways. One of them would be like a one-on-one call. A one-on-one call. I've been doing this recently. I don't tend to do a ton of one-on-one calls these days because I just have so much going on, and I still manage to make, $4,000 a day. So it works without the calls. But what I go back to it anytime I want to say, what is something consistent that I can control? And a lot of people, especially like in this 5-day challenge I was telling you about, that's free. A lot of people don't realize, oh, I can actually charge instead of having just free conversations helping people for free. I can actually charge $99 to have a call with someone. I used to do this when I was sleeping out of a hotel, sharing a room with my mom years ago in Pearland, Texas. And I would have $30 calls from people online to help them with their blog because that's the lived experience I had at the time. I knew how to put together a blog and how to launch it, how to post on it, what platform to use, how to get people to read it. And I had no access to money. My bank account was negative, but I could do that and I could control that. I couldn't control a lot, but I could control that. And I would make $30 and I would pay for our food and towards our staying that day. So I would do that as often as I could, and I still do that. I think it's like that skill. If I tried to give that up, I think I would lose something because it's like I always say, if things go south for me, I know I can work at the movie theater if they still exist when that happens, or if that happens. I know that I can do one-on-one calls. I can do door-to-door, hand-to-hand combat. I know I can do it, right? So that is something you can always go back to. Now, there's a question of, okay, well, I have this, and I'll tell you about a couple other ways you could kind of take your skill and turn it into a delivery. You could say, well, that's great. I would do a one-on-one call, but how do I do that? Well, you could do it on Zoom. You could do it on the phone. You could do it on Google Meets. That part is pretty simple. You could book it on something called Stan Store, Stan store. If you go to stan.store/Arlan, you'll see my Stan Store and you'll see my book a call. And I think I'll put the link, well, I might forget to put the link below, but if I don't, it's stan.store/Arlan. You'll see my book a call. Yours could be $99. Yours could be whatever you want it to be. Some people want it to be more. Some people want it to do the $30 ones just to test it out. But it'll link to, if you have a Google Meets, which you can have for free. If you have Zoom, you could have for free version of it. And then once you get paid a couple of times, get the paid version so you can have even more features. That's what you want to do. You want to reinvest some of the money into having a stronger foundation. Okay, that's something we don't often talk about. I don't hear people talking about it, but it's really, really important. It's what I do. So I might take half the money, use it for food and use it for what I need, but I'm going to go also pour into, okay, what tools do I need? What do I need to just have leverage? And that's a big leverage to have, is to have a robust Zoom account like I'm using to record this. So then you might say, well, how do people know to do that? I don't even know how to get people to to know that I have these calls to make. Well, it's in your promotion and in your marketing. And there are four main ways you can market. I'm going to list them all. Please take notes if you can, and I'll just briefly talk about them all. And then inside of the 5-day challenge, if you're interested, you can take days 2 and 3, and they will tell you everything you need to know, and I tell you in the videos, everything you need to know about these specifically. But there are four main types of traffic or leads getting, right? One is cold outreach, meaning you don't know the people, you're reaching out to them. I'll come back to it. The second, if you want to write it down, is warm outreach. The third is paid promotions or ads. And then the fourth is organic content. Organic content, we'll start there because it's my favorite, is this. It's exactly what I'm showing you right now, is me talking to you on YouTube. I didn't pay to post on YouTube. In fact, YouTube is paying me because it pays me per thousand views or per view, essentially. And you, in order to get paid by YouTube, by the way, you need 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. And once you have that, YouTube will look at your account and see if it's eligible, and then it will invite you into their partner program. And then from that point on, once you're approved, it will then pay you to post. So it's just a nice side thing. It's really, really nice to feel like, oh, I not only did I not have to pay YouTube, but it is paying me. And then you're seeing this, which is evidence that it works. Organic content. I have more than 200,000 subscribers, but I didn't just 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I had about 8,000 subscribers. And 6 months prior to that, I had about 3,000. And I had like 4 years where it took me to go from zero to 3,000. So for you, you could build up your subscriber base on YouTube to 100, 200, 300. Some people get to 1,000, you know, and that's enough of a base to tell YouTube to get to know YouTube to get to know what kind of channel you have and to put you out to strangers. And that's what it's doing every single day because think about the logic. YouTube wants to make money, right? It wants to show ads to people. So it's incentivized to help you get your video out to more people. So that's what happens with organic. If you want to know exactly what to post, what to call your channel, what your channel should be about, what your thumbnail, meaning those pictures that are on there, the titles, everything that you need in order for people to see your videos. I have a YouTube revenue challenge that I just did a couple of weeks ago. 500 people were in that challenge, including 200 people that signed up new in 1 week. And we just had a blast. And the replays are available inside of my 360 pass. So I'll tell you this just so you know. So when you go to get the book, right, which I highly, highly, highly recommend, because within 24 hours you can have all the sauce with that audiobook download. When you're checking out, you have the option to do an add-on for my 360 pass, and the 360 pass has all these AI tools and challenges and weekly calls with me. It's just crazy. And one of them is the YouTube revenue challenge. And we went in for 5 days on everything you can imagine about how to make money from YouTube. And so that organic content is YouTube, it's LinkedIn, Substack. I really like Threads these days. I think Threads is so, so undervalued. And it's not always going to be the way it is now, which is like you can reach people, like I can post something, get crickets on it. And then an hour later, I can post something and get like 1,000 likes on it because it's just so new and so used that it's like the early days of Twitter. It's like really, really exciting. So organic is all of the stuff that you don't pay for to use and you get it out to people on a free platform, Instagram, TikTok, all of that, LinkedIn. And then I'll go up. So paid ads is like being on Meta, spending money on paid ads. This isn't something I do very often. It is very powerful though. I would suggest using paid ads only once what you offer starts to sell and you have a good kind of funnel. So you know, okay, if somebody reaches my page, 1 out of 10 people buys and XYZ. Before you have that, throwing money at it is actually going to be a waste of money, in my opinion, because it's going to just lead to a broken pipeline, a broken funnel. So once you get the funnel optimized with organic reach and the other two that I'm going to dive into, then I think you can throw money at it. Now, there's some people who say like if you do ads for like digital products that are really, really inexpensive, that could actually work out and you don't need to have much authority yet. So I would test out a few things, but for me, I'm going to go with organic first. I'm going to build that out. I know that it's not going to happen overnight, but it's something that I can control. And then I'm going to have paid ads in my back pocket for when I want to scale and grow. Then there is cold outreach is the first one I mentioned. Cold outreach is you don't know the person, but you perhaps see them in a group or Reddit, Facebook, some sort of group, or you see them, someone else's comment on YouTube, someone else's channel that's like yours, but the comments in it, and you kind of insert yourself into the conversation. You reply to them. This is something you want to be very careful about because you want to make sure that wherever platform you're on, the person or the company wants you doing that. And you have to be really careful not to spam or to abuse that. Another way you could do it is you could post when someone likes a comment of yours or likes a post of yours. Let's say you put up an Instagram reel and you talk, that's organic. You're talking to the audience that you have, but maybe there's some people who aren't in your audience and they like the comment or they comment on it. You could then DM them and start that cold to warm transition. That's another way of doing it. So I've seen that work really well, especially with things that are like, hey, I want, let's have a further conversation with this. DMs, conversations are sales are conversations. And so the more you can just talk to people for free, talk to people for the paid bookings, the better. So for instance, you could have a post of any type of these platforms. You could teach something in the video like I'm teaching right now. And I could say, okay, in the link below, book a free call with me if you would like to learn more about dot 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 and you want me to take a look at what you're doing. Then take them into the free call booking, but have it be a little friction, like where they have to answer questions and you look at the answers after they book. And if you don't like the answers, you just cancel and you say, look, you're not the right fit for this call. Maybe you can go over and look at my course. And then the ones that do make sense to you, get on those calls, listen to them for 70% of that call, have a conversation, and then say, this is what I offer, and this is how I can help you, if you believe you can help them. So you would be surprised if you did the math, how fast that would add up. Let's say you have, you have to think about it like this. If you wanted to just only do one-on-one calls, because I gave you that one example, and you charged $100 for it. Now, I wouldn't do this for the whole year, but you can do it as like some simple math. If you put pen to paper, let's say you charged $100 for a call. That's 1,000 calls a year. Sounds like a lot, but it really is 20 calls a week. So 20, 30, or 45-minute calls a week. What are you doing now at your job? Are you not doing like 8 hours a week? I mean, 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week or more? But wouldn't you rather be home doing that? And like I said, I wouldn't personally do that for the whole year. What I would do is start at 100, sell 10 of those, and then raise the price slightly and see how it goes. See what does, like test it, and then keep raising the price as it works, and then find that sweet spot. So it turned, if you did it only one-on-one calls for a year, it wouldn't be 1,000 calls. It might end up being like 300 calls, and that might be one call a day at the end of the day averaged out. But the beginning part of it is going to be where you do the most work. And the beginning part of it is where you're going to have the least amount of results that prove out the work, that it's working. But then you have that compounded time after time after time, like the song. And that's when things get really, really good. So then the last one is warm outreach. And this is the one that I have seen with my students and with my clients that has the absolute best results fastest. So if you want a fast money play, this is for you. Let me know if you want a fast money play in the comments right now. And did you subscribe when I asked you to earlier? If you're not subscribed, make sure you're subscribed right now. This is the moment. If you made it this far in the video, you're going to want to see my other videos. And let's make sure you get that book because you're going to love the cover. You're going to love everything about it. It's so cool. Okay, so that warm outreach. We were talking earlier about how you have all this experience. You probably even help people for free. That means you know people. And even if you don't know a lot of people, sometimes people don't have a lot of friends, and that's okay because we're friendly, right? Like everybody online, come into your first 5K, you have friends in there, okay? I just want to make sure you know that. If you feel lonely, if you feel like you're alone, or either one, come into your first 5K and you'll have your people, okay? But even if you don't have a lot of people in your contact list, you have some, most likely, right? And what I want you to do is look at your contact list, look at your email list if you have one, even if it's 50 people, 20 people. Look at if you started a school, there's 14 people in that school. These are real people. And your phone, your contact list, people you know, Um, every single day I get, and I'm not exaggerating, every single day I get at least one person who is a student of mine or a client of mine who says, I reached out because I did the 5 day challenge, and day three, you tell me to reach out. I reached out to 5 people or 10 people or 20 people from the past. They've either paid me in the past or I've helped them in the past, or we just met somewhere. And I did two things. This is like the hack. You say, I have this, I'm doing one-on-one calls, whatever the offer is. You say, do you know anyone who could use this? So you could ask them directly if they want to do it, or you could say, do you know anyone? Do you know anyone who could use this? That's what you're going to ask. So what that does is it takes the pressure off that person to have to be put on the spot a little bit. If you're asking them, which you can absolutely ask them if they want to do it, especially if they've purchased from you before, you can be very direct. But if you're a little bit on the fence about it, but you're thinking, you can say like that person probably knows 10 people. So you're broadening your reach. Your reach is broadened, and then also that person may say, well, actually I could use this. So I've seen so many people say either, yeah, I know somebody who they could use this. I've seen some people say, I know somebody who could use it and I'm going to pay for it for them, like it's a gift. And I've seen people say, I don't know off the bat, like offhand who could use this, but I know I can. It's $99. Oh, it's $200. Yeah, let me take a look at that. Can you tell me more about it? Right? So you remember that 360 pass I was talking about? It also has something called the First Dollar OS operating system. And if you go into the First Dollar OS, if you're a 360 member, you may already be one. There is a sales simulator. So it acts like someone talking to you in the DMs or someone talking to you on a sales call. And it helps you with all the objections you might have and exactly how to answer it. You can even paste in or type in what someone said directly, and it'll tell you exactly what to say back to them. Pretty awesome, pretty amazing tools in there. So that's what you're going to do is you're going to look at these 4 types of traffic and think through it. Like I said, in the free day two and day three of that $100 5 day challenge, I just break down everything. I give you the prompts you need. I give you the scripts. I give you everything you need. There's no stone left unturned. Okay. And then you're going to think about your goal. Like I said, 100,000, yours could be some other goal. So you're going to write down, I always have sticky notes around me. You're going to write down this goal. Like in the next 12 months, how much do you want to make? That is, attributed to you not working for somebody else. And that might be, hey, and I want to do 10K. I want to do 3K a month because I want to replace my salary. I want to do 6 figures, which is 100K plus. Whatever it is for you, you find that number, you put it on a sticky note or you put it on something, put it in front of you, put it on your wall, put it on your laptop, put it on a table, have it around you with a piece of tape on the wall at all times when you're working because it's going to help you. And I'm telling you this as someone who went from being homeless to making, now I make $4,000 on average a day. That's growing each month. And I do it all from home or on the road. I get to travel with my family. I get to sit home and watch General Hospital when I want to. I mean, I work hard. Let me be really clear. I work most hours that I'm awake. But it's because I enjoy it. I enjoy this game. It's not because I feel like I have to or I'm not going to make money. If I worked less, I would just make a little less money and then that would be that. I enjoy it too much to just sit around and do nothing. So if you are someone like, oh man, one of my clients, she has a lot of children and it's exhausting. And what I told her was, you actually could work 2 hours a week on this. If you set it up in a certain way, you can actually work just on the things you need to work on, which are content at the top of the funnel. Content, and I would suggest YouTube. I would suggest Threads is really making its way up. Instagram works for some time for some people. And then LinkedIn is one of those things that's just always going to work in a way. But even if you choose one platform and go all in, if you spend 50% or more of your time on content, once you've set up the system, the funnel, it's just like paid ads. Like you don't want to have your content going to something that's broken. But once you've set up that, I have the offer. I know what skill I'm going to utilize because I found it in the 5-day challenge, or I used the AI tool that's free, or I just worked on the lab framework on my own, or inside the book, it helps you, right? And you get that book download right away. So you have the offer. You then know how to start promoting it. Some ways are going to be very fast, and some ways are going to be built over time. And then you have, okay, how do I deliver it? I said one-on-one calls. You could have a digital product that you just build one time, takes you a day to build it. You put it on a storefront like Stan or on a Lovable page or in the site of your school. Any of these that I'm talking about that you're not familiar with, you will become familiar with them. It's all good. And you could just have a place where people go and they buy. You build it once, you make sure it's still working, but you spend all of your leverage time sending people to it over and over again. And then you start to get results. This is the part a lot of people don't talk about either. You deliver it, you over deliver. You make it the delivery so awesome. Like even if it's like a $99 product and it has one promise, which is really important. Like it has one promise. The promise isn't extraordinary or crazy. It's just it's going to help you do this thing that you weren't able to do before. It'll make you do it faster with better results. And once you start getting people in that, you could have some people test it for free if you want to get some testimonials. But either way, once you start getting people in it and they have that transformation, even if it's small, start using those testimonials, videos, written word, you quoting people in your content, static pictures, all kinds of things. Use those testimonials when you write an email out to the 14 people on your list. Say, Rebecca just had this amazing experience. Post on school, put a pinned post and say, these two members just had this experience with the product or with the delivery of what I have. Then you build that foundation, you spend the time to build the foundation, and everything after that is really just the funneling of getting the attention on there. And what you're doing as you're building out, and the reason that the content, organic content, is my favorite, is that you're simultaneously building your authority. You're building your authority. Now I give you the full playbook here. That's why it's called this. I give you the full, step by step why and what and how. But essentially, what you want to do is you want to become known for something. You want to become the go-to for something, for one thing. So ultimately, what you want to figure out is what is that thing I want to be known for? For me, for a decade, it was being an investor in underestimated founders. And that's my Backstage Capital. You can Google it if you want more information about that. But I built authority there. If you just type in the word Arlan in Google, I will come up first. Built that authority. I should have put that in my book. But just look, Arlan built that authority. I was sleeping on the floor of an airport 10 years ago. So it's not like I was handed anything. And you build and you build and you build. Now you become known for something, you become the go-to for it by building over time, by over delivering. And I don't mean like overworking. I mean that you don't give a promise that you can't deliver on, and then you have some surprise and delight along the way. So you really give people everything they need to have this one success. And then people will start talking about it because there are more ways to get traffic, like affiliates or referrals, different things like that. And a lot of that is that word of mouth. In fact, what I learned when I put out my first two books and I put them out on major publishers, one's called Your First Million and the other one's called It's About Damn Time. What I learned is that word of mouth is the number one generator of sales in books. Word of mouth, not ads, not someone jumping up and saying, hey, this is what for you, because you could see this video and say, I don't know. But if someone else told you, you got to read this book. This book is changing everything. That is the number one driver of it. So if part of building authority is have like putting out a book. I want you to start thinking about these things. I want you to think about your offer and your delivery and the sales. But I also want you to start thinking about building your authority. Could you start writing a book? You don't have to print a book or pay for anything yet, but can you start the writing process? Just in your spare time. I know we don't have a lot of that, but just a little bit of like, what would my book be about? What's a paragraph I could write? You know what I do? I do audios. So this whole book, I just do audio messages to myself. I'll talk for like 5 to 15 minutes on a voice note. I'll get the voice note transcribed, and that's part of what starts to become the book. So it's not even me just at like this, like I'm Sarah Jessica Parker. I'm really just doing it the way that works for me. So start establishing that because you could have a print book or you could have an ebook. If you have a print book, you may not even have to spend money on it. You could just publish it on demand. There's so many of these publishers that'll do it on demand, meaning somebody buys it and then it gets printed and then you get a portion of that. Like that's a version of doing your book. Now, let me know in the comments if you want me to go in deeper on like writing a book, publishing and getting it, what I was just talking about, because I'm happy to do that. I've done this process 4 times. I've done it twice with the publisher paying me $400,000 and then $300,000 for the second book. And then I did it twice now with indie publishing, and I make a lot more doing indie publishing. So I can tell you how I think you could get a publishing deal, but I would really tell you to indie publish because that makes you more money. So you're establishing this authority. People are seeing you. That's why YouTube is so strong. People get to see you, and then you're building your sales at the same time. So you're sitting on a skill. The first thing you need to do is to start going through your lab framework. What have I learned, applied, benefited from? What do people come to me all the time about? What could I do all year for free and still be excited about? If you could find that combination and then you look at the market and see if the market is willing to meet it. And by the way you do that is you do a search on Google, do a search on YouTube, see if people are talking about it, see if what people are charging for similar things. If you do that, that's the sweet spot. But honestly, I can help you find your offer inside of your first 5K free 5-day challenge on day one. See you soon.